the rest of the world to celebrate or to commemorate the International Cooperatives Day. And today we shall be having it here in Uganda in form of a dialogue, as the norm is, or the new normal, where we celebrate such events virtually. And today we are privileged to have a number of speakers actually who are going to take us through this day. Now, I take this opportunity to introduce the guests we shall be having here in studio, who will be taking us through the significance of this day and perhaps how we move forward and how do we develop cooperatives in Uganda. Now, on my immediate right is Dr. Fred Muhumuza, who is actually going to be our keynote speaker. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, next to him is the CEO of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, or the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Asimwe Ivan. You're welcome.
Thank you so much, and good morning, viewers.
Yes, and next to Mr. Asimwe Ivan is our guest, our chief guest, who is the Minister of the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Francis Mwebesa. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and next to our chief guest today is the State Minister for Cooperatives, Honorable Frederick Ngovi Gume. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
And lastly, we have the Commissioner of Cooperatives Development, and also who is the Registrar of Cooperatives in Uganda, Mr. Robert Vario Varije, who is actually representing the Permanent Secretary. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers and listeners.
Now, we shall also be joined by some members of the Cooperative Alliance on Zoom, since everything is now scientific. And we shall be having Mr. Jonas Toyambe, who is the chairperson of the chairman board, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and he will be joining us on Zoom. We shall also be joined by Mr. John Nwagawa, who is actually the manager of Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperatives Union. And also with us here we have a partner, a partner of Uganda Cooperative Alliance from actually Stanbic Bank. Also she will be making a presentation at the opportune time. Now, to kickstart our program today, I invite the CEO, or the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Asimwe Ivan, to give introductory remarks, and then after him, we shall be having the chairperson of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, who will actually be making his presentation via Zoom. But because of time, I'll give each one or each speaker 5 minutes. So that we can be able to finish and complete this program in time. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ivan Asimwe, the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance. And good morning, our viewers and listeners outside there. As cooperatives, we are really extremely honored and exceedingly gratified to be here today to commemorate the 27th Day of Cooperatives globally. And I want to take this opportunity on behalf of the cooperative movement to welcome our Honorable Minister, Honorable Francis Mwebesa, who is here with us, the Honorable Minister of State for Cooperatives, Honorable Gume, who is with us here, our Commissioner, who is also representing the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Trade, Mr. Bob Barrio, and our senior partner and mentor, Dr. Fred Muhumuza. Thank you so much for supporting cooperatives. And as we all know, cooperatives globally are marking the 99th International Day of Cooperatives, which is also the 27th UN Day of Cooperatives globally. And here we are talking of over 1 billion people are members of cooperatives. And these cooperatives employ up to 10% globally of all people who are employed. And they contribute over 300 cooperatives contribute up to 146 billion US dollars. So here we are talking of a bigger portfolio. So cooperatives, the aim of the Cooperatives Day is to increase awareness of cooperatives and to promote the movement's ideas of international solidarity, economic efficiency, equality, and world peace. And this one has been, since 1995, the ICA and the United Nations, through the committee, have jointly set the themes. And the theme for this year is Rebuild Better Together. And why? It's because of the COVID-19 pandemic crisis which we are in. And so as cooperators, we are really looking at how best we can rebuild better together. This year, cooperatives around the world are showcasing how they are meeting the COVID-19 pandemic crisis with solidarity and resilience, and offering communities a people-centered and environmentally just recovery. Cooperatives will use this occasion to spread the word about how a human-centered business model sustained by the cooperative values of self-help and solidarity and the ethical values of social responsibility and concern for community can reduce inequality, create shared prosperity, and respond to the immediate impact of COVID-19. So I welcome everybody. I want to thank the cooperators outside there. Currently, our viewers, we have over 29,893 registered cooperative societies in the country, and these ones cut across the sectors of the economy. We have cooperatives in finance, which are SACCOs. A SACCO is a savings and credit cooperative organization. We have cooperatives in agriculture, mining, housing, transport, and health. So today in Uganda, we are really celebrating this day, and we want to call upon everybody to come and participate, to showcase how best they are contributing or they are complementing government efforts in combating the disease. So as cooperatives, want to thank the government headed by His Excellency, the President, especially the President for his passion for cooperative movement. Because wherever he has been going, he really spreads the gospel of cooperatives, which is a tick on our side as cooperators. We want to thank his government in general for the support to cooperatives. Our Minister, Honorable Francis Mwebesa, for your support. We know you as a senior cooperator, and we thank you and we appreciate you for the role that you have played in the cooperative movement. Honorable Gume, our Minister of State, for the years we have worked with you as cooperatives, on behalf of the cooperatives, we really appreciate you for the efforts and the good work that you have done for the cooperative movement. Then the Commissioner, we also appreciate you as cooperatives for the great contribution that you have done to the cooperative movement. Thank you so much. I will invite the Chairman Board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, who will add on. Mine was to give remarks, and I want to thank everybody. I want to thank UBC for this opportunity. I want to thank all cooperators and the general public who are viewing this program. Please, let's work together. Let's cooperate for the socio-economic transformation of this country and globally. I thank you.
Thank you very much, the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Asimwe Ivan, for such a good presentation. And we shall be having a question and answer session. Yeah, but you can keep your messages coming in on our WhatsApp number, which is 0782 9915 87. I come again, 0782 9915 87 is the number, so you can keep your messages. That's the WhatsApp number. You can keep your messages coming in case you have a question to ask. And as Mr. Asimwe says, the theme is Rebuild Better Together, United we stand, divided we fall. So the theme reminds us of how it's important to think of rebuilding the country, think of rebuilding cooperatives together as we move forward. I hope the technical team is in touch with the chairman, who is actually going to give our next presentation, Mr. Jonas Toyambe, I hope you are online and you expected to give a presentation in 5 minutes. It's like we are for now we are not able to get in touch with him, but when we get in touch with him, we shall actually be bringing him on. Now, I take this opportunity to invite the Commissioner Cooperative Development, who is also the Registrar of Cooperative Societies, Mr. Robert Bario Varije, is to give remarks on behalf of the ministry, and thereafter invite the State Minister.
Thank you very much, Moderator. On behalf of the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and indeed on my own behalf as the Registrar of Cooperative Societies, I congratulate all cooperators, both in Uganda and globally, on reaching this 27th UN International Day of Cooperatives, which also doubles as the 99th International Cooperative Day. I, on behalf of the close to 30,000 also cooperatives across the country, including 10,394 agriculture marketing cooperatives, including 10,830 registered circles, including the recently inaugurated 6,394 Emyoga circles, including all the cooperative unions in this country. I congratulate all cooperators, and also would like to request our honorary ministers to address their people. So I'll not waste a lot of time since my honorary ministers are here. So at this juncture, I'll invite the Honorary Minister of State for Cooperatives, Honorable Gumengobi Frederick, to come in and address the cooperators. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Robert Bario Varije. And I shall give the Minister 10 minutes because I believe you have a bigger presentation to make here.
I want to thank the Commissioner, and I'm also very privileged to have joined my senior colleague, the Honorable Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Mwebesa, and the colleagues from the Cooperative Alliance and the development partners. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to congratulate all the cooperators within the country and worldwide. It is a very important day for us to observe, renew our commitments, and forge a way forward as cooperators. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity also to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda to have given me a second chance at the head of the management of the cooperatives in the country. I have a responsibility, definitely, as we observe this International and World Cooperative Day. I have a responsibility to renew and call upon the cooperators that now, under this pandemic, it is now not business as usual. But first of all, we ought to renew and to get to know what we are supposed to do, and what cooperators are. Suffice it to note that cooperatives are autonomous associations. Autonomous is very important. Associations of persons who are united voluntarily to meet common social, economic, and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. So, when you discover that the cooperators come together voluntarily for a common purpose, it is very important that we have a responsibility as cooperators of increasing production and productivity alongside value addition, and hence we are very critical for Uganda's transformation towards an inclusive middle-income economy. And for sustainability and survival of these cooperatives in a liberalized market, we should be market-driven. The cooperatives must compete in the market by offering better incentives, products, and services than the middlemen. Because we're in a competitive market, our services must be above the middlemen for us to score more. We also, in these 5 years, are looking at entrenching cooperative education. This is key for embedding the cooperative culture, values, and strengthening capacity of the cooperative movement. It is therefore important to build internal organizational values, entrepreneurship, strong leadership, and management. These are very critical for the survival of cooperative enterprises. Entrepreneurship, strong leadership, and strong management. We also have to look at a dedicated cooperative financing framework. This is very critical for harnessing and enhancing access to affordable credit. Suffice it to note that for the cooperatives to survive, the political economy of the time determines their success. Government has committed itself to revitalize cooperatives, and the government policies and interventions are also leveraging cooperatives in all possible ways. Also, for these cooperatives, we should note the following. How were these cooperatives? Why were they formed? They were formed initially to curb market exploitation by the middlemen. The autonomy given to the cooperatives in the 1952 Cooperative Societies Act unlocked their productivity. However, in 1963, the post-independence period, their autonomy was reduced. Nonetheless, cooperatives continue to thrive as they benefit from government public policies. We also need to emphasize marketing boards. Initially, they were created with the name of bulking trade and collecting foreign exchange on behalf of government. However, the monopoly was weakened, and the political instability in the 1980s directly or indirectly dampened these cooperative activities. But with economic liberalization, government divested its interests in cooperatives, withdrew direct support to cooperatives, and abolished the monopoly along with the commodity value chains. However, cooperatives at that time were not prepared to survive a liberalized and competitive market, and consequently, they collapsed. The liberalization also led to a proliferation of the diversity of cooperatives, largely away from agricultural production to service consumption, among others. Now, what lessons have we learned? One, the cooperatives must be deep-rooted interests must have deep-rooted interests of members to solve their common problems. Most of the traditional cooperatives that developed through the desire to address a common need were able to create sufficient social capital, and that was needed for them to survive. Now, cooperatives that are production-based are bound to succeed than cooperatives that play an intermediate role. The government of Uganda has attempted to bridge the cheap financing gap through the Uganda Microfinance Support Center and Agricultural Credit Facility Fund. However, they have faced challenges. Whereas the Microfinance Support Center provides relatively cheap credit compared to commercial banks, the process of accessing credit is quite long and bureaucratic than providing the necessary services which are critical for cooperative growth, such as membership development, training, regular inspections, and management. So, also, we should realize that the current taxation policy should also reflect on the fact that the cooperative enterprises operate differently from conventional business. The cooperatives look at savings, while conventional business looks at profits. I believe that when we come together, the cooperatives can be an engine for promotion of high quality products, value addition, and exports. But we also need government support. For example, some unions like Ankole, Bugis growers, are exporting directly their coffee to the international markets, and the members are also obtaining better premium prices. However, we have some challenges on the policy and regulatory framework. The Cooperative Societies Amendment Act that was enacted in 2020 was intended to encourage member participation, strengthen supervision, enhance transparency, and improve compliance to established laws for the benefit of their members. However, its implementation is hampered by contradictions brought about by the Tier 4 Microfinance Institution and Lenders Act of 2016, which subjects SACCOs to a multiple regulation, and it also limits the powers of the registrar. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, I have a belief that if we came together as cooperators and addressed our challenges and reduced on the conflicts, the management bureaucratic tendencies within the cooperatives, we can go a long way in contributing to the country's economic growth, especially in our move to achieve the middle status income. The department for the past 5 years has achieved several developments. These have gone a long way because, like the registrar said, we have now many cooperatives, not necessarily the produce cooperatives. We have SACCOs that have sprung up to give cheap credit and easy credit, cheap and easily accessible credit. We have the housing cooperatives, which are providing cheap housing units. We have the health cooperatives, which are also assisting the government in health facilities, like the one which is housed at the Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Professions are also coming together to form cooperatives and bring services nearer and moving together. We also have the energy cooperatives. There are so many and enormous. I am privileged to inform our viewers that when we came in 5 years ago, we had 16,000 cooperatives. Currently, we have over 25,000 cooperatives, and many more cooperators are coming in. We have challenges over there. The members of the cooperatives, I appeal to you not to exploit this gap under COVID to do business minus consultations. You must adhere to your development programs that you've submitted to us. The government has gone ahead to also compensate the cooperative unions that were affected during the wars. The money is given to you must be effectively used to fulfill your development programs. Reduce on the conflict.
Honorable, you should be concluding in
reduce on the conflict,
yes.
But also appeal to the NGOs which are coming in to assist the cooperators, that your role should be to promote the cooperative, not to criticize the cooperatives. Kindly give us more education. We also intend to bring the education syllabus to capture the subject of cooperatives such that it is an examinable subject at the O and A level, and people should be able to offer degrees at the cooperative level. I want to thank you so much, our viewers. I'm looking forward in these next 5 years to do business with a lot of, with walking the talk. We are looking at the cooperative bank. It is the only way we can come together to solve our economic problems. We need to come together and have accessible credit and cheap money to our cooperators. I want to wish you all the best in the celebrations, and thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Frederick Gume, for this presentation, and I believe the viewer out there, in case you have questions from his presentation, you can keep them coming on our WhatsApp number, which is actually running on the screen, but also if you can also make a direct call so that we can have your views on as we celebrate the International Cooperatives Day. Now, I don't know whether the technical people are ready. They've managed to get through to the chairman. If we manage to get through to the chairman, can we have the chairman make his presentation before the minister? The technical people, in case the chairman we've accessed the chairman, we can have him make his presentation.
I'm available, sir.
Welcome, Chairman. Thank you for following the program. Maybe can you turn off the voice on your volume or volume on your screen so that we can be able to get you well, because there is an echo coming back this side. So, Mr. Jonas Tuyambe, in 5 minutes, make your presentation. We couldn't get you earlier as Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the International Cooperative Day. Everyone or everybody viewing out there would wish to hear from you, especially telling us how the cooperative movement in Uganda is actually helping cooperators in this particular trying time where, one, they are locked home. Secondly, we have a pandemic amidst us, and how best they can actually steer production as and when we are having a pandemic.
Thanks so much, our facilitator. Hello.
Yes, you're live. You are live on UBC TV. You are live on UBC TV.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks so much, members. Cooperators, we are commemorating the 27th UN International Day of Cooperatives on the 3rd day of July 2021. First, I want to thank the recurrent speakers who have done a great work for cooperators, especially in this event. And I say good morning, all cooperators and the entire country. On behalf of Board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance and the entire cooperative fraternity in Uganda, I'm honored and exceedingly gratified to congratulate all cooperators globally upon the 27th International Day of Cooperatives, as recognized by UN, and the 99th International Day of Cooperatives. The date is clear.
and the year is clear, and the theme has already been elaborated clearly, which is rebuilt together, better together. This event is always being celebrated by all cooperative unions, ACEs, societies, and UCA in Uganda and world over. The International Day of Cooperatives is celebrated annually, of course, on the first Saturday of every July by Cooperative worldwide since 1923, and was officially proclaimed by United Nations General Assembly on the centenary of ICA in 1995. The aim of this event, of course, is to create awareness of cooperatives and promote the movement, the entire movement's ideas of international solidarity, economic efficiency, equality, and world peace. The event underscores the contributions of the cooperative movement to resolving major problems addressed by United Nations, to strengthening and exceeding partnerships between international cooperative movement and other actors. This year, because of the current pandemic of COVID-19 crisis, which has already claimed lives of many, and of course it has affected the economies globally, cooperatives will celebrate as usual, but rather consolidating and rebuilding better together, for giving us good health and providing us food on the table to continue living and working. We wish, of course, to convey our heartfelt condolences to all people who have lost their lives, for, of course, lost the lives of their loved ones, and to comfort those who are still sick and traumatized. This year, operators and the entire community around the world are showcasing how we are meeting COVID-19 pandemic crisis with solidarity and resilience and environmental just recovery. Today's occasion, members, is to spread the word on how a human-centered business model sustained by cooperative values of self-help, solidarity, and the ethical values of social responsibility and concern for community.
Chairman,
this is how we can.
Chairman, if you can get me, you have 1 minute to conclude so that we can have the minister's presentation.
Okay. Already we have, this is now, you allow me to take this opportunity to thank the government of Republic of Uganda, especially His Excellency, the President, Cabinet, Parliament, and the Judiciary for whatever they are doing. So this time I'm trying to summarize, as you have already requested me, and we have to, of course, we call upon the government of Republic of Uganda to address the current dilemma in cooperatives, support cooperatives to revive the cooperative bank, finalize the compensation of all cooperative unions and societies, support the apex body, this is UCA, to be able to deliver a legal mandate, adopt cooperative model in their development programs, especially by supporting in form of storage, various additional equipment, and provide more support in different cooperatives with strong and efficient public and, of course, private sector in growing highly innovative and dynamic cooperatives. Cooperatives are important for people and communities they serve, but we are also, there's a crucial pillar for socio-economic transformation of all economies. We therefore call upon
Chairman, I'm afraid I have to
the
cut you short.
cooperative business model. But this is now the last one.
Yes, please.
This is now the last one.
Please let it be the last.
Therefore call upon all Ugandans. This is now the last paragraph. I'm finishing off. This is therefore to call upon all Ugandans to embrace the cooperative business model in rebuilding better together for God and my country. This is Toyambe Jonas, the chairperson of board, Uganda Cooperative Alliance.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman Jonas Toyambe, Board Chairman, Uganda Cooperative Alliance. We are sorry we couldn't get through when you were supposed to make our presentation, but we are happy we've managed to get to you. And I hope other presenters were also going to present online. I ask the technical team to keep trying them so that when their time actually of making their presentation comes, we shouldn't have actually issues connecting to them. Now, I take this opportunity to invite the guest speaker, who is actually the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Francis Mwevesa. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Fellow cooperators, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me pleasure to join you in celebrating the 99th International Cooperative Day, which also coincides with the 27th United Nations Cooperative Day. As we celebrate this auspicious day, popularly known as Uganda Coop Day, let us extend our warm congratulatory wishes to all cooperators in Uganda and across the globe. The theme of this year's celebration, Rebuild Better Uganda Together, aptly fits into what our country and indeed the whole world is currently going through. The COVID-19 pandemic, cooperatives around the world are, during this difficult period, supposed to showcase how they are meeting the COVID-19 pandemic crisis with solidarity and resilience, and offering communities a people-centered and environmental just recovery. Fellow countrymen and women, I'm happy to note that Uganda's political, social and economic development has been and continues to be inextricably tied with the growth of cooperative sector. The cooperative movement in Uganda has existed since 1913, though it started formally with the enactment of the Cooperative Societies Ordinance in 1946. Cooperatives thrived all through this period up to early 1970s. In the mid-70s, cooperatives were grossly mismanaged, interfered with. This, combined with the loss and destruction during the 1979 liberation wars, significantly reversed the earlier achievements. The introduction of liberalization in early 1990 marked the beginning of a steady decline in performance of cooperatives. By mid-1990s, majority of cooperatives had completely collapsed. While I was being introduced, one person said, "I'm a cooperator." I happen to know the whole.
That is true.
That remark was a true one, and from that time, I've not seen the cooperative movement being what it is. I happen to be even a neighbor of Anyankwere Kweterana, biggest plant in Imbarara. And when I came here, I have a passion for cooperative movements. It is very assuring to note that the NRM government has shown commitment and interest in reviving the cooperative sector over the past 3 decades. In recognition of the role cooperatives play in poverty reduction, the government has sought to create an enabling environment for cooperatives to develop and thrive. As many of you recall, government one time was at the forefront of forming a financial cooperative, SACCO, at every sub-county. Much as some of these collapsed due to several reasons, I will not dive into it today. Many of them are still existing. The beginning is always hard, but those ones which are existing will still exist, and they are growing. In a bid to support the strengthened cooperative movement, the government established a microfinance support center, which has been pivotal in expanding financing to cooperatives of all types. Government has indeed strengthened surviving cooperatives and promoted establishment of new ones. Last year, in 2020, HE, the President, established a presidential initiative on job and wealth creation, targeting organized groups engaging in various economic activities. Out of this single initiative alone, 2,184 sub-counties and municipal divisions, 10,595 parishes, and 70,626 villages, covering 146 districts across the country, have received funding to the tune of 205 billion. I am happy to note that my ministry worked closely with the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, specifically microfinance, to achieve this short time. Ladies and gentlemen, much of Uganda has lent a long history of cooperatives. There is no guiding policy framework in place until 2011, when the first national cooperative policy was approved. It has become evidently clear that without comprehensive policy direction, government was poised to face a serious challenge in achieving a goal of revitalizing and strengthening cooperatives. My ministry, therefore, had taken this responsibility, and we are able to develop the national cooperative policy that was launched in January 2011. Following the expiry of the policy, I wish to inform that the ministry engaged internally and with cooperators in reviewing it and formulate a new one. The final draft was scheduled to be presented to stakeholders to final review in 2020, but unfortunately, you know what has happened because of this COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to their invaluable contribution to the individual prosperity of our national economy, cooperatives in Uganda have played an integral role in fostering national unity and cohesion. It is for this reason government has placed the cooperative sector at the heart of the national development agenda, counting on the sector as a reliable development partner in terms of social and economic and cultural and political progress. This government, and indeed my ministry, therefore recognizes the importance of cooperatives in wealth employment creation to achieve a national development plan goal, increased household incomes, and improved the quality of life of Ugandans. We are therefore called upon to position cooperatives in parish development that the government is introducing this financial year. I make my personal remark on top of this speech. We shall go to the cooperators and find them in their places, not to come to us to solve the problems in our offices. Even as cooperative movement has positively impacted on lives and livelihoods of millions of Ugandans, it is incumbent upon us all to continuously raise the bar so as to safeguard the achievements registered so far. The full potential of cooperatives is fostering development is yet to be harnessed due to both internal and external problems. My ministry is cognizant of these challenges, and we are striving to address them to the biggest extent. In this regard, government has already initiated or its process of initiating a number of policy regulatory measures which are not only designed to create an enabling environment for cooperative enterprises to thrive, but also to solve the structural bottleneck. My ministry is committed to addressing the leadership and governance of challenges being faced by many cooperatives, issues through effective and strengthening regulations and regular supervision. As I said earlier, we shall go to the cooperators, but not cooperators to come to us to solve their problems. Cooperators are also encouraged to put in place dispute settlement mechanisms to avoid conflict. I also wish to reiterate that the government, through my ministry and other agencies, is keen on addressing other challenges like inadequate standard storage facilities, post-harvest handling, agro-processing, infrastructure. Government will, through Uganda Warehouses Receipts Systems Authority, construct or refurbish storage facilities, especially in rural areas, in a bid to promote use of warehouse receipts for agricultural financing. Other agencies like UNBS, Uganda Development Corporation, Uganda Experimental Promotion Board, others will provide auxiliary service to provide and strengthen the agro-processing sector. I also wish to inform the country generally, cooperative fraternity, that the government is working on measuring to address the problem of quality standards for our agricultural produce. In this connection, the Agricultural Produce Marketing Bill is being drafted and shall be presented before Parliament. The capacity of UNBC has also been strengthened to effectively address the challenge of quality standards. While we celebrate this important day, it is worth noting that the majority of the population do not have adequate knowledge about cooperatives. My ministry would like to encourage all cooperators, especially leaders and managers, to acquire a requisite knowledge of cooperative ideology and philosophy. In this regard, the cooperative training institutions are to revert to this ministry as the one responsible of cooperatives. These cooperative colleges will therefore reinforce the Management Training Advisory Training Center, which provides business and management skills. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, one of the biggest setbacks to the cooperative movement was the loss of property and assets during insurgency. Government, through my ministry, is committed to fully compensating all the cooperative societies that lost property due to insurgency. Most of the cooperative unions have already received payment in compensation. This has helped in recapitalizing them, and they have now been revitalized. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I invite you all to join me in applauding the significant contribution and positive impact the cooperatives in Uganda and across the globe have done. I wish the cooperative movement every success as it continues to make Uganda and the world a better place for all humanity, uniting families, communities, nations, regions, and the globe. We indeed rebuild better together. That is the statement which I started with. We will indeed rebuild better together, and I'm confident that we'll see many stories of how the cooperative movement can help communities become stronger in the post-COVID pandemic world. God bless you all, for God and my country.
Well, thank you very much,
Mavesa.
Honorable Francis Mavesa, for your presentation. And the next item on the agenda actually questions. In case anyone out there has a question, please, you can keep it coming. Our number is 0782991589. That is the WhatsApp number where you can keep your messages coming in. So far, the question I've so far got is Honorable Gume Ngovi did talk about reviving cooperative education. And we see that in Kenya and Tanzania, so as to actually get good managers for cooperatives, so as to get the good human resource for cooperatives, their cooperative colleges have since been elevated to universities, so much that actually even offer PhDs. Now, what is government doing so that at least the two or so cooperative colleges we have, at least one of them should be elevated to university status?
Thank you very much. Like you rightly said, we have so far cooperative colleges, one in Chibumba and one in Interlude. They offer diplomas. That is the maximum they offer. We are trying to liaise with the Ministry of Education that one of these colleges is promoted such that it can start offering degrees for the time being. Like you are aware, cooperative education is very paramount to the cooperative movement, and we're also saying that the cooperative as a subject be examined at the ordinary level and also at the advanced level. Why do we want it to come down? Is that the youth for the past few years have not had access to information. They have not benefited to learn of the fact that cooperatives can be well-meaning, and if people work together, they can promote themselves, their welfare, and also it can be used as a source of employment. So I agree with the fact that our next move now shall be to liaise with the Ministry of Education to have one of those institutions promoted such that we can have qualified managers at that level. I want to thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Frederick Gumi-Ngovi. Now, let's keep our answers short because we have a number of questions. And yes, the chairman did say that his prayer is that government should actually revive the Uganda Cooperatives Bank. And good enough also, our guest speaker, you did say that actually you witnessed the good old days of the cooperative movement. Now that you have a political head, what measures on behalf of government are you going to put in place? One, so that there is a revival, expeditious revival of the cooperative bank, but also seeing the cooperatives get back to their good old days. Yes, Honorable. It goes to Honorable Mavesa. Yes. Yes, yes.
Talked about the cooperative bank. I mean the chairman of UCA.
UCA, yes.
Talked about the revival of the cooperative bank. But that is a policy which has been consented upon. Now what we need to understand, we are lucky. We have the Uganda Cooperative Alliance and we have the Registrar. They are the next in line of action. So I would request the UCA General Secretary to give us his first move towards the establishment of the cooperative bank.
Please, Mr. Simwe, and then after we shall have Mr. Variowarigi.
Thank you so much, Honorable, and the viewers. Of course, on the issue of the cooperative bank, as we all know, that the cooperative bank here was started in 1964, and then it was closed on the 19th of May 1999. We have been engaging government, and like the minister says, government is very positive. What we need to do, like he says, and our request is that let government support us. Yes, we know that according to the minister, government has put money in the microfinance support center. There is money in UDB, but the challenge we still meet is access to this money. We feel that we need to have our cooperative bank up and running, but like the minister says, we shall we are UCA, which is the apex body, We'll work with the Office of the Registrar. We engage government to ensure that we have our cooperative bank revived for the good of the cooperative movement. I thank you.
Thank you very much. As Commissioner, you can supplement, you can add on.
Thank you, Moderator. And, as my colleague, the General Secretary, UC has rightly said, we've been engaged with a number of stakeholders regarding this issue. And I would like to say, I think we can see the light at the end of the tunnel now, especially because we have quite a number of cooperatives which are well capitalized in such an extent that they can mobilize the necessary capital to revive or to reestablish the cooperative bank. And our belief is, if it's be truly a cooperative bank, it must be owned and capitalized by the cooperatives themselves. That's why on our part as government, we've been keen on recapitalizing or compensating all the cooperative unions that lost property or assets due to insurgency. And many of them are now operational, and we believe they now have the capacity to mobilize the necessary capital to recapitalize. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioner Vario Varije. And your name says they are there and fine. We hope the cooperatives are there and fine. Now, there is a quick one here. Somebody says, how are the cooperative movements going to help the parish model? Have the cooperative movements been involved in this initiative? I think this goes to the Commissioner.
Thank you very much. I would not like to preempt the presentation of our keynote speaker. So I think let that caller be patient and we'll hear it from the expert himself. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioner. We are going in for a short break, and when we come back, we shall actually be getting to the second phase of our discussion or of our dialogue today, where we shall be getting into now presentation, and our keynote speaker is Dr. Fred Muhumuza, who is a senior economist, but we equally have other presenters. We have John Nwagaba, who is the manager, Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. We also have Sarah Murungi, who is the chief of party of the Healthy Partners. But also we have other stakeholders who are with us here from Stanbic Bank, and they'll also be making their presentation. For now, we get to a break. We shall be back shortly. The International Cooperatives Day on 3rd July 2021. The virtual dialogue shall be relayed live on UBC TV from 10 a.m. to midday under the theme, Building Better Together. The guest speakers are Honorable Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Frederick Ngobi Gume, the State Minister for Cooperatives, Mr. Jonas Tweyambe, the Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Asimwe Ivan, the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and Dr. Fred Muhumuza, a senior economist who is the keynote speaker.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
COVID-19 chija kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
To improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
Semye kuzoka koramu mutoro waitu mwana ma ogama tugara tingamba tuna bamungalo genda kulya my government ya governor munga France corona kanawe shankula kana mafura kana mafuta mukyala wa Katonda yagatuwa mukyala Katonda yagajja Italy gano embanga ina ngambira zikumacha nkola bukozi bwe seta atakunabanga luseta atamazi ndanga na mafuta Ichikola bukozi bwe domeza hando bawe manga ina gano nyo musembelya bwe sifuna corona nyo kola ko bwe chicho kolele na kwatao no social distancing soka wayongere Ministry of Health evumirira bina bye mukola Ministry of Health egamba sabuni na amazi gattako sanitizer oluvanyuma webikekano ebinga tasa corona buno bade butambulira mu mpewo era bye mulimu ebya mchana wakatuna byona bifu nabojo nawe ni mungalo nawo yanguo sanokizaimu chikola social distancing weyongere yeri twina kumulinana ikirala njagala ombulire omukyalo we wabera nkubire Ministry of Health bamukime alinka mugambi jensabira
Nature that nurtures our life on Earth determines the geographical surrounding that should be protected and preserved by the community. Our environment is a program that will showcase the importance of human responsibility in a healthy environment, that is to say, conservation, waste management and recycling, disease prevention, biogas to mention but a few. On UBC, Inspiring Uganda.
Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the International Cooperative Day on 3rd July 2021. The virtual dialogue shall be relayed live on UBC TV from 10 a.m. to midday under the theme, Building Better Together. The guest speakers are Honorable Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Honorable Frederick Ngobi Gume, the State Minister for Cooperatives, Mr. Jonas Tweyambe, the Board Chairman, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Mr. Asimwe Ivan, the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and Dr. Fred Muhumza, a senior economist who is the keynote speaker.
On the journey,
Uganda joins the rest of the world to celebrate the International Cooperative Day on 3rd July 2021. The virtual dialogue shall be relayed live on UBC TV from 10 a.m. to midnight. Come back from that short break. Manda Akol Amazima is my name, and today we look at the International Cooperatives Day, where Uganda joins the rest of the world to actually commemorate this day. Now, as we're in a break, some people sent me messages saying, look here, most of the cooperators are actually village-based. How about if we use some of the Ugandan languages? But remember, yes, we shall perhaps be blending here and there where it is necessary. Leero lunaku lw'abeegassi mu nsi yonna ng'omulamwa gwe tutambulirako okuzimba obupya obulungi nga tuli wamu. Kwa Kiswahili kujenga upya bora tukiwa pamoja. Nolwekyo naye nga nja kusaba mukkirize nti aboogezi bakozese olufuutifuuti. Nitaomba muwaruhusu wazungumzaji au wachakonoa mada watumie Kiingereza. So at this point, I take the opportunity to invite Dr. Fred Muhumuza, who is our keynote speaker, keynote presenter. And shortly after him, we shall have Melissa Nyakwera, who is the head of Agribusiness, Stanbic Bank. And Stanbic Bank, actually one of the partners. So we wish to thank the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and Stanbic Bank actually for making it possible that every cooperator who's out there can actually be part of this celebration that is being held virtually. So Dr. Fred Muhumuza, I invite you to make your presentation in 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, moderator, and I want to once again greet everybody who is out there viewing us on this important day, the Cooperatives Day, and what a very important theme of rebuilding better together. We're in the middle of a pandemic. It has already affected our lives, it has affected our livelihoods, it has affected our economy, so there's no better theme than talking about rebuilding this better together. I'll be running through a few things and highlights that really we want to talk about, that focusing on cooperatives and the COVID pandemic is an important thing for us, and we are putting this within the context of the parish development model, which is part of the National Development Plan 3 implementation framework. It shouldn't be very new to very many people. We know there have been quite a number of people out there who have thought that the parish development model is new. The parish, the word parish has never been new. I grew up in a parish, I grew up in a village, I grew up in a sub-county. So this is exactly what we're talking about. And since 1992, government has been talking about decentralization. And decentralization goes all the way to the villages. We have a number of government institutions that have already been using this framework for the delivery of services. We all know that in the means of education, the objective is to have a primary school in every parish, a secondary school in every sub-county. So these have already been implementing planning and implementation based on a parish model, or the parish as a unit of planning. We also know the Ministry of Health had a health center too, planned for every parish, and then village health teams at the village level that feed into the health center 2s and into the health center 3s that are supposed to be at every sub-county, and then health center 4s that are in every constituency. So this is not something new, but we're saying while that is happening, it is important that we move with the people inclusively. So we are trying to, through this approach of the parish development model, to rebuild effectiveness and functionality of the government. It has been there, but as you hear people say to Saba government, to Yambe, to use the other languages, they are not just saying government give us handouts. They are saying government please be around and play your role. We have, with the Ministry of Local Government, identified that there are about 5,000 parishes that do not even have parish chiefs. So you can find the difficulty there if you really want to implement the cooperative. And the Commissioner Cooperative here sends a message. Who is he sending it to when there is no parish chief? It will end at a very high level with the cow, or possibly with the sub-county chief. So we are saying let this authority of government go all the way down. Similarly, there are about 500 to 700 town boards or town councils that actually are not operational. They were created, the politicians are in place, so you can imagine a commissioner who exists, a councillor who exists, but actually the operational structure of government is not there. So the parish development model is about that. How do we mobilize the communities? And this partnership with the cooperatives is very, very handy, because government needs to work with the voluntariness, the willingness of the communities themselves to associate themselves and work together, but also there is the aspect of the legality. I mean, there are so many languages and words being used out there, federations, associations, and all sorts of things. Cooperative is the word, because cooperative has a legal framework. If you do not agree with the law, laws are there to be reformed to match and the status. You don't set up a parallel system. So I would be very happy the things we are calling associations and what, let government run along the cooperative model. Let government run along the cooperative system. People are already organized at society level, those unions, and they come all the way. My presentation has a few things, and if they can show you possibly the slide that shows the trend of how the economy has grown, because we are talking about rebuilding. Let's move on to the next slide, please. Keep moving on, the next one. These are development results we have talked about, the challenges we have faced, the things we have not been able to see, because we still have erratic poverty trends. Poverty is up, poverty is down, vulnerability. We are all in the middle of trying to see how do we help communities that have been affected by lockdowns. So some government systems have not been very effective, and this is what the parish model is about. The cooperatives are about to make sure unemployment, low incomes are addressed, so that people are not affected within 1 week of a disruption of their regular business. They will have their savings within the circles, they will have the cooperative bank, or whichever other institution they have to work with to support them. Next, please. These are human beings. It's a common picture. You will find it anywhere in Uganda today. These are not there for fun. They are not there for a meeting. They came to work. You can see them. They came with their tools. Same thing here. These are people downtown. They want to work. This was before the lockdown. So you cannot say because there was a lockdown, people are not working. How do you organize people of that nature? How do we support them? Let's move on to the next, please. Now, that is the trend of the economy. So you can see at the end of that picture, when we are talking about rebuilding better together, it is a reality that COVID affected the economy. It went down. It's struggling to come back. We have had another lockdown. We don't know how that will affect us, but that emphasizes the need for rebuilding together, because you don't want to leave anybody behind. And that picture also is showing us that much as the budgets have been going up, the response of the economic growth rate has been going down. Why? Because grassroots level institutions are not there. We're talking about cooperatives. We're talking about functionality and effectiveness of these parishes. The budgets up, the levels must go down, and when they go down, institutions do matter. There must be a government institution, there must be a community institution, there must be private sector institutions to translate these budgets into realities. And that's the cry of the parish development model. How do you personalize the office of the president? Office of the president is not a ministry. It is the office of the president. And there is a concern by the security agencies, so the military, through Operation Wealth Creation, domiciled right in the office of the president, is concerned to make sure we link development with the communities. Because every time the communities have a complaint, it is the security agencies that are called in. So they don't want that. They want to see development. Nobody is quarreling because they want to quarrel. They want to be busy making some money, earning a living, and trying to push their lives further. And let's organize them. Next slide, please, as we go on. And other countries have really done it. I had a quick peek of some of the countries that have run the race alongside Uganda's 35, 40 years. Vietnam began their journey in 1986, like us. Their GDP has multiplied 10 times. Their population hasn't increased that much. It hasn't doubled. Over that period, Uganda's population has instead multiplied by 3 times. So what do we do to mobilize the communities to manage the population dynamics, to organize themselves to do more production of crops and money rather than families and children whom they may not be able to address? We are now celebrating the 99th year of cooperatives. China on first celebrated their 100th year of their party. China has, the economy has multiplied 40 times since 1980. 40 times, from less than 500 billion United States dollars to over 18 trillion. And China, as we all know, is a socialist. You're really talking cooperative. It's a socialist template. You may talk about communism. It is about organizing communities to work together. Over those 40 years, China has eradicated something called absolute poverty. 800 million people have been moved out of poverty. It's not because of guns. We have always known China for guns, for phones, but it was about cooperatives, organizing the communities for a cause and driving that cause. And you can see they have been able to do it. Let's move on to the next, please. What is the status of Ugandan household? When you look at that slide there, you will actually see that the bulk of household incomes is being consumed on housing, education, and health. That one eats up almost 75% of the people. Now, people who are that vulnerable with their limited income, because these are basics of life, housing, utilities, food, eating up 75, you can only save such people by putting them together, to put their resources together. And I want to move on to the next slide that speaks actually to what is this Paris development model. You can skip that slide because I've already explained what the Paris development model is all about, that it's not new, that it has been there. Let's move on to the next slide. Want to be able to save time. These are the structures. Most people think the Paris development model is about giving money. It's a myoga, it's another ntandikwa. No, it has 7 solid pillars. And as you can see them there, the immediate one that we are talking about that needs to come into play is actually the one on governance and administration. The chief administrative officers have already received instructions to recruit the parish chiefs. The parish chiefs will put in place the parish development committees, people who understand the issues. And you already have seen the dilemma. Honorable Prime Minister is ready to compensate the poor, but where are they? Who knows them? If we already had these systems functional, the LOC one, the parish chief, the village chief, the communities would know who needs to be helped, whether with a phone or without a phone. These are the things we are trying to address by putting government functionality and effectiveness on the ground, so that we can know the vulnerable, we can know the poor, and they can be targeted, they can be supported through all those structures of production, through structures of infrastructure, putting up education and health facilities. We are now all realizing that the health facilities need investment, but the communities have already suffered. A basic thing like a simple delivery, a basic thing like simple immunization have not been happening in some of these places, and we never get to know because government at the ground level has not been there. So we want to mobilize the communities for health. Let's move on to the next slide as we come close to the end. That framework helps us really to, so if you move it from the left to the right, you will see a pentagon, which is really talking about the resources of the communities. The 5 letters there that you see that resources have social capital, they have natural capital, they have physical capital, they have financial capital. These are the things they need to pull together as communities to address their livelihoods. And in the middle, we're talking about the structures that are needed, the level of government and the private sector. But these can only support communities when they have already ganged up together. We have had people talk of middlemen. When people are pulled up together, there is safety in numbers. We want to pull up the people together so that the laws and the policies will help them get to the right way. We're looking at results of these livelihoods, reduced vulnerability, improved food security, everything that we have been mentioning as government, but we have not seen as I've illustrated below. And also COVID has really shown us that the people we thought were food secure are actually not food secure. So grassroots-based institutions, the commonest of them is going to be the cooperatives. And it's not just about Uganda. Let's move to the next slide. I possibly have 2 more. Here we are saying cooperatives the world over. This is the case of Europe. They have over 140 million members with over 4 million employees and 180,000 enterprises. This is the cooperative movement in Europe. It developed well, so it's not about poor people. How did Europe develop? You need to go back and see the role that has been done by cooperatives, by them working together, dairy cooperatives, coffee cooperatives. We can have all sorts of things, but there is benefit in cooperating together. We create jobs, we reduce reduction, we'll be able to beef up. And this synchronizes very well that while communities mobilize themselves, the parish development model is mobilizing government to be effective, to be functional at those levels. The sky will be the limit. Let's move on to the second last slide, or possibly the last one. That the cooperatives and the parish development model have a way of, they will help to stabilize those economic cycles. We are right now in a cycle, as I've shown you earlier. The economy has gone down. How do you help people to rebuild back? We can only do that better together. The theme was very, very handy, and it's a global theme, speaking to the concerns in Uganda. Cooperative business will help stabilize the communities. The people who are trying to help, growing up in the 70s, in the 80s, the cooperatives were there to help us go through those hard times. Even when without money, they will be there to help, standing for you at the school, and you will not be sent home, because the coffee will eventually be sold. So we are looking at those aspects of cooperatives, knowing their members, pulling together resources, and this is what the parish development model is about. How do you strengthen grassroots level institutions for better development? I want to challenge everybody to join in this kind of drive of making sure we do the last mile of decentralization by championing the parish development schemes and systems and programs. And when we talk about parish, we are not ignoring the sub-county, because the sub-county supervises the parish, and the sub-county is supervised by the cow. So literally, we are deepening and strengthening decentralization for local economic development, to remove poverty, remove vulnerabilities. Countries like China have shown us it can be done. And I hope we can do it. And like Obama said, yes, we can. I want to thank you for listening to me, and to call upon everybody to join this cooperative spirit. Let's join our people, let's put them together, because if these grassroots are not strong, as they call them bottom of the pyramid is going to crumble on us. And COVID has literally shown this to us. Many of us were comfortable with our bungalows, with our schools. COVID has said, if households are not strong, your kids will be empty, your schools will be empty, you will also be vulnerable, including the banks themselves. I want to thank you very much.
Well, I must thank you very much, Dr. Fred Muhumza, for not only making a very good presentation, but also for being a good time manager, because you're within time. Now, I take this opportunity to invite Melissa Nyakwera, the head agribusiness from Stanbic Bank. I wish you use 7 minutes. Yes, and meanwhile, John Nwagaba from Ankole Coffee Production Cooperative Union, be standby. You're going to make a presentation online. And also Sarah Murungi, Chief of Party Healthy Partners. I beg that you're also online. So you're welcome. In 7 minutes, please make a presentation. Come and use this.
All protocols observed. Good morning, viewers and fellow presenters. Thank you to Uganda Cooperative Alliance for inviting us to partner with you on this very special occasion for the cooperatives. My name, as introduced earlier, is Melissa Nyakwera. I head agribusiness in Stanbic Bank, and probably to just explain as to why I would be here speaking about on a day for cooperatives. And it's essentially because we do acknowledge the fact that you will note that probably 70–60% of the cooperatives in Uganda are in the agriculture space. So that's how the connection comes through. I will really not look at or dwell at the introduction. We've had all the history of how we've gotten to here from 1920, when we were looking at trade, and how we've evolved into, for the cooperative space, into other sectors, such as agriculture, transport, health. And I'll just speak to my topic, which is really around strategies for cooperative survival and sustainability amidst COVID-19. So before I really get into that, or answering that, or responding to that, I want us to sit and think through what this pandemic has done for these groups of people. And there are 4 main things that have been affected. One is their ability to operate normally. Their ways of operating is you meet on a certain day of the week together to collect, in terms of those that have savings, invest, decide on how you invest that, and then lend to those that need the financing. Now, in the current restrictions, that is really not happening. That's the first challenge that they are facing. The second one is the majority of these people are in the informal sector, and as such are not actually trading. So what has happened is they have essentially, for lack of a better way of putting it, I'll put it in the Ugandan way, eaten their capital. So they, even when we get out of this space, how will they start their businesses running again? So that's the second challenge. The third one is they have always operated in a way of manual processes. You know, they run, they use paper, at the very most Excel, to really run their businesses. And then the third challenge is, I think this one Honorable Francis Mwebesa did talk about, is around their management or governance levels, the lack of the capacity to run these entities sustainably, in a sustainable manner. To be, if they were able to do this, then they would be more resilient to such shocks as COVID-19 has presented. So, as a bank, this we started last year. We have therefore, as a bank, come up together with several funding partners with a SACCO proposition to address the above challenges. Our funding partners include ABI Trust, IFAD, that is the International Fund for Agricultural Development, UNACTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So this fund, as we speak, our aim is to get to $100 million, still on our way into there. But it's essentially to address several issues. And I'll ask the team to put up the presentation to just show what it is we will be addressing with the fund. So that's really it. So one, we have what we call the SACCO account. The SACCO account is as a way of rebuilding these entities, the cooperatives, that are really looking to save, invest, and give credit to their members. We have what we call, we have a SACCO account where they will have, they are able to transact without any charges. They are able to deposit cash for free, withdraw cash for free. There are no management fees. If you have income or extra funding, we can give you an interest on your cash of over 10 million shillings. This is tiered depending on how much you have. So that's one product we have to address the challenges. The second one is around financing. Financing as a challenge for the members, because they have more or less taken out the capital, and we need these entities to restart. So the financing aspect is going to be at 12.5% per annum in terms of interest. If 12.5 per annum means that the SACCO borrows at essentially slightly over 1% per month, and they can use these funds to then lend to their members. They can also use them to invest, to buy, you know, if it's an agriculture SACCO, you're looking at probably putting up a dryer, a sorting machine, or a tractor, you name it. So that is how low it gets. It's up to 200 million shillings unsecured for 12 months. And we renew at the end of the 12 months, depending on your performance. We can go up to 36 months. And for that, we will need security. And the amount above 200 million is up to 1.5 billion shillings. So that's on the financing aspect. Then next to that is we have the financial literacy, which is really around capacity building of the management of these SACCOs. We have partnered together with you know, Uganda Cooperative Alliance. That's, I think, how we got into these discussions with them, to really understand what the needs are in this space. So these SACCOs that come or participate with us do have access to financial, to literacy, to capacity building for their management members, but also financial literacy for the members of the SACCOs. This will be done through our Stanbic Business Incubator, which has several hubs around the country. In addition to that, we have the digitization of the SACCOs. and village savings groups. We understand, I did talk about the fact that they run their business manually. So we have partnered together with different fintechs to be able to digitize these SACCOs. They are more or less financial institutions. So what we are trying to do is to give them platforms, banking platforms, you would say, for themselves. So that's what that digitization aspect is. Then to ease their financial transactions, we encourage that the SACCOs register as bank agents, which would allow them to be able to receive funds from the members as well as disperse the funds. Also for the members, we've got what we call the Flexi Wallet. It's an electronic wallet that allows them to also move funds electronically without having to meet. This one is really to address the challenge around the physical weekly meetings. So this wallet will allow them to carry out disbursements, to receive loans onto their wallets, to also make, repayments on their loans. And for the SACCOs, it allows them to have, if you've digitized and then your members are on these wallets, it allows you to have dashboards for reconciliation purposes without having to go do it the manual way. So this really is what we have available, and our plan, our hope and belief is that it does address the challenges that the SACCOs are facing. We've also included the village savings groups, and we are here and ready to work with many more. We already have some, but we are ready and open to work with the several that are also out there. I've had interesting numbers. We've talked about over 20,000 SACCOs in this country. So it's just to say that we are available to work with them and give them these very good opportunities so they can thrive in this current environment. We also would like to continue to partner with community leaders, government and stakeholders such as Uganda Cooperative Alliance as we look at bringing this economy back to its former glory. Thank you so much. Stay well and keep safe.
Yeah, thank you very much, Melissa Nyakwera, the head of Agribusiness Tambik back office, for such a good representation. And indeed, the cooperators out there, there is hope. Yes, there is hope. That is, if we can get united. Now, at this juncture, allow me invite John Nwagaba from Ankole, who is joining us on Zoom. Because of time, I'd wish Nwagaba you use 5 minutes. I hope you're already on Zoom. Hello, John. Hello. Am I getting to you? Well, John.
Yes, you are getting to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So make your presentation in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, I will try my level best. I'm trying to. Okay, I will try to be faster. So, protocol observed. My topic was on how cooperatives can be used to meet the COVID-19 pandemic crisis with solidarity and resilience. I'm John Nwagaba, the General Manager of Ankole Coffee. We are based in Shema in the southwestern Uganda. When I heard of the word resilience, what is it? Resilience is the ability to withstand diversity and bounce back from difficult life or situation. And as a cooperative, if you have all what it takes, you can be able to do it. Our vision as Ankole, Coffee is already on the screen. I don't want to repeat it, but I can talk about the mission is to promote mutual economic interests of member farmers in a sustainable way through production of good quality coffee and other products, value addition, and bulk marketing. Then the other the value chain we operate in is a provision of good quality seedlings, extension service, supply of inputs. That's the whole value chain we have. Then the next slide is about social responsibilities. As ACPCU, we have done a lot of social responsibilities. We support schools recently, even under COVID. We put up a big classroom block at Nyakashambia Primary School. But all along, we have also been doing other schemes. We do a scholarship scheme. Even under COVID, we supported a few students to complete their studies, especially those who are at the universities. They would approach us. And previously, we had constructed with our member societies 13 classrooms in 6 different schools, and also we did 7 housing units. As Ankore Coffee, we operate a community clinic, and also we supported other clinics. One of our member societies constructed a 3-ward health center at Health Center 2 in Kajunju. We have also done housing units for health workers. Again, more than 200. Now, when we go to protection of our environment, we have planted more than 200 trees by 2016. We have made sure we enhance protection of biodiversity through organic farming and in investment in then under COVID, Ankore Coffee supplied we supplied actually 40,000 masks because each farmer was getting 2 masks. From the picture, you can see people were given masks, soap, and what. And this we did actually early this year as we prepared maybe for the second COVID, but all our farmers are now equipped. Then also we have put up awareness campaigns and posters. Then we also previously, under the first COVID in April, we facilitated both districts and the country COVID tasks. We gave the districts where we operate 13 million, and also we gave the national task force 25 million, 15 million, which brought our total contribution as Ankore Coffee to 28 million. Also, we do complementing the health services through our union clinic. Then collaborating with others, we look at now, we have UCTCU, it could be transporting all our coffee. We need to have energies and work with other cooperative. There is the energy cooperative for the renewable energy, and that's the way to go. We have in West Nile, Bundubujo, and the other areas. Then the circles are a major tool for financial inclusion, especially under pandemic. Most of our circles were able to enable people access money and even stay charging interest or recovery of loans forcefully to allow people to recover economically and pay back. Again, cooperatives have done like the Ujuko cooperative, which helped to resettle people who were in Kishenyi, and now they are easy to manage, they are easy. And again, apart from that, there has been other benefits that have accrued to them, like training in innovation. They have been trained in good innovations. Like they have been trained to make liquid soap, which they can use for their own. Then under
thank you very much for your presentation.
Yes.
You have to cut you short. Incidentally, time is not on our side. Perhaps I can only give, yes, in 30 seconds if you can conclude so that we can have the next speaker. In 30 seconds, conclude, please.
Okay. Okay, now you see the pictorials of the school, the masks. The soap, God bless you. Amen.
Well, thank you very much, John Nwagaba from Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union. It has been a pleasure having you online. Now, the next speaker is Sarah Murungi, who is the chief of party, that is the Healthy Partners. Are you online, Sarah? Please, Sarah, if you're online, proceed with your presentation. Hello.
Okay, I shared my presentation, so I'm hoping that the team on that side has it.
Yeah, the technical team will do that ably. Proceed with your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. All protocol observed. My name is Sarah Murungi. I'm Chief of Party for USAID-funded Connect Girl Center activity. And we are working in all corners or all the parts of the country. And today we are privileged to be invited to speak at this celebration of the International Day of Cooperatives and to share something probably different from what others have been talking about, and that is about health cooperatives. I don't know if the host can allow me to share my screen.
Yes, please do.
Not complaining. Time given to me was too little to make meaningful presentation.
Yes, can we have Sarah's presentation? Are you still there, Sarah?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, please proceed with your presentation.
Okay. I don't know what to say.
You're being heard. You're being heard. Proceed, Sarah. Yes, Sarah. Are you
okay, so can you hear me?
We are hearing you perfectly well.
Okay. Okay. So in Uganda, we have two types of health cooperatives. The first one is where medical workers and allied health professionals came together to form a health cooperative, and they pool resources and probably establish a health facility. But the other one is the community health initiative, which is cooperative health insurance, that promotes the health cooperative model and in partnership with health facilities, with circles, with employers, with schools and member groups. And this is the one that I'm going to focus on in my presentation. As you can see in the map, this is where we are. We are in almost all parts of the country. We have trained healthcare providers in all these regions where you're seeing the blues and reds. And some are already offering not yet and being prepared to start offering care. This is how the model works. It's, as we said, it's a partnership. So we have members, and these members join in existing groups. So it could be an existing circle, it could be a school, it could be an employer group like a tea factory. And those identify a provider of choice because they need to access quality care, and which is also affordable. And each provider will have a data entrant who will focus on ensuring that services are only provided to members who have paid their premiums. And then these will form the health cooperative, and then they will elect a board. So the membership fees, the shares are paid into this account, and also the provider At the end of the year, if they make any surplus, they contribute 10% to that reserve fund. So we find this model, it's locally owned because the leaders are local and the members are local, and it's sustainable because we do not pay for insurance or reinsurance for these members, but also because I've heard the previous speakers talking about reaching the informal sector. We have found this a solution for reaching the informal sector with quality care, especially where government facilities may not be providing quality services. This is our newest health cooperative that registered in the Elgon area in December, and here they are displaying their certificate. We didn't have a health cooperative in that region. Most of them are in southwestern Uganda. So that's the recent one that registered with support from Ministry of Trade. What are the benefits of cooperative health insurance? There are benefits for care providers because this is a provider-based model, and members pay their premiums directly to the provider. So that prepayment helps the facility to plan and then also to maintain drug stock because they have money in advance to be able to pay for this. Instead of getting them on credit, they are able to motivate their health workers. But also this model improves the relationship between the community and the health facilities because they have meetings where they discuss their issues. If the health facility is not providing quality services, they'll have meetings to discuss. But also health facilities provide outreaches for members to learn and also to focus on prevention. So the shared risk for the members ensure that the healthcare provider is able to make a surplus after treating the patients. This is one of the testimonies from one of our the health facilities that is on the scheme, especially during COVID. They said they received 72 positive cases and 3 of these were cooperative members. And because of the continued education, they were able to just treat them and send them home because they had sought care early. And these patients encouraged their contacts to quickly come for testing, which helped the other families and the contacts instead of being critically ill. This is Kakoma in Isinjiro district. The benefits for the members, the premium cost less than out-of-pocket expenditure. The current premiums range between 20,000 to 50,000 per year per person, and that helps them to access care, basic care, including antenatal deliveries, but also when they seek early treatment, it means that they will not, the students will miss less school, and also the people that are working will miss less work because they are not severely ill. And then people do not have to sell their assets or even borrow to seek care because they've already paid their premiums in advance. This is one of the testimonies from one of the members that benefited from cooperative health insurance. She says before her husband joined, they used to spend a lot of money on medical care, but after they joined, she was able to get an operation and get treatment as part of the 20,000 premium that they had paid. And she was able to save the rest of the money to improve her diet. So there are many such stories in the community out there, and we can share them if people need them.
Sarah, are you getting me? Yeah, you can.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, conclude in the next 30 seconds. Time is not our best ally.
Yes, I will, because I'm finishing.
Okay.
Health cooperative in the COVID crisis. There's a lot that health cooperatives did in the COVID crisis. This is Chitanga Health Center 3 in Ruchiga County. It was offering PPEs to other facilities. This was on offer because they were able to secure them early. They were able to offer to other private health facilities. But here down, you can see that they also shared with a DHO of public in government, and yet would have expected the other way. So basically, as we talk about building together better, this is the relationship. And then we had our Connect Girls Centers produce masks that they sold to the community at a very reduced price, but also that increased income for the cooperative youth centers to survive through the pandemic. Our networks, the cooperative health insurance network includes these partners. We have an MOU signed with Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and they support training, regulation, and policy guidance. We also have an MOU with Ministry of Health for quality control, since the cooperatives are offering health services. And then also we work with Uganda Catholic Medical Bureau, Uganda Protestant Medical Bureau, Uganda Healthcare Federation, USAID Health System Strengthening Activity, and we have so far signed MOUs with 22 district local governments to support communities to access this care.
I'm sorry, Sarah, I have to cut you short. Thank you very much for that.
This is my last slide. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for really joining us online. And yes, we are getting to the last session of today's dialogue. Next, we're supposed to have a question and answer, but due to time, we may really not have it. But you keep your questions. We shall give you, you keep them coming. We shall actually pass them over to the people who are here, and they can ably see how to get back to you to answer the questions. I also have to thank the management of UBC, headed by Mr. Agaba Winston David, deputized by Maurice Mugisha, for adding us 10 minutes. So we shall go to 10 minutes past midday. Now, I just go to the concluding remarks, of course, in the reverse order. We shall begin with Dr. Muhumza, Fred Muhumza, in actually a minute or two. Yes, you're parting short.
Yeah, my parting thought is really to once again congratulate the political leadership of the ministry. I know the president talks about addition and subtraction, so it's not easy to get there. We are looking forward that you are going to subtract the challenges in the communities as you add value to these communities. And we are looking forward to partnership with everybody from the academia, from the community levels. We are ready to partner and bring in new ideas and continue having the conversations as you provide that political leadership. And to the communities, I think this is an initiative that is about us. Let's work together. COVID has told us that if we are not together, we really get a lot of problems. But also as communities, we have shown, even to the Ministry of Health, because I want to believe a lot of COVID cases are being handled at the community level. So we have shown that the community actually can partner with the mainstream structures of government and deliver results better and faster. I look forward to this engagement continuing as we move into the 100th year of celebrating the existence of the cooperative system.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fred Muhumza. Then invite Mr. Sima Ivan. In a minute or two, your parting shot.
Thank you so much. I want to, first of all, thank the Honorable Minister, Honorable Francis Mwesa, and the Honorable Minister of State for coming here to preside over this function. We are so grateful and so appreciative as a cooperative movement in the country. Thank you so much. I want to thank government in general for creating an enabling environment for us to be able to celebrate. We want to thank our partners, Stanbic Bank and others who have really supported us in ensuring that we celebrate this occasion, and also support the cooperative movement. We thank the cooperators outside there and the general public for really supporting us We thank the unions like UKUSCO, like UCAFs, SACCOs, and other forms of cooperatives. Thank you so much for your support. We want to thank the board of UCA for making it a success, together with the management staff of Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Want to thank the ministry in general, the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, for really working with us to make sure that we have this day a success. Want to thank the media. The media has really done a great job. For the entire week, we have been having talk shows on UBC, on other televisions and radio stations across the country. We thank you, and specifically UBC, for giving us this program, which is live, to helping our people. Because formerly, we are celebrating this together, we would congregate together and celebrate. But because the situation is not normal, we all understand that we are into the COVID-19 pandemic crisis, but we have made it possible for us to celebrate. I want to thank all presenters, Dr. Muhumuza, our partner, all presenters, thank you so much for the wonderful presentations. We really, on behalf of cooperatives, we have nothing to say but to appreciate everybody. Together, cooperators, together, let's rebuild this country and this world. I thank you, and may God continue to help you and to give you good health within, especially within this period of the pandemic. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ivan Asimwe, the CEO, Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Then without wasting time, yes, I invite the Commissioner, who is also representing the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Robert Varije, in a minute or two. Your parting shot.
Thank you very much once again. I once again congratulate all cooperators countrywide and globally on this auspicious occasion. I would like to make a few comments that could probably lingering in the minds of some of our viewers and the cooperators. One regarding regulation, especially of SACCOs. There is apparently contradicting legislations. I would like to inform you that government or the ministry is working hand in hand with other sector ministries to harmonize the contradictions that may be prevailing, especially in the regulation of SACCOs. My second comment is on Emyoga. I would like to encourage all the people who are in this Emyoga to please actively, participate. The funds were not for sharing out. We've had reports of some of the groups sharing out the money, which is quite discouraging. Would encourage all of them to continue saving, as it were, so that these groups, these Myoga SACCOs, the presidential initiative, can be strengthened further. The last point I'd like to make is regarding our services currently at the ministry. Because of the prevailing situation, we are not able to provide you services as it should be, either regarding registration or certification. We encourage you to route your whatever requirements you have through your DCOs, and we can always get in touch with the DCOs to provide you services. I thank you once again. I thank UBC for hosting us, and all the partners, Stanbic, UCA, for supporting us on this day. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Robert Varije. And yes, I take this opportunity to invite the State Minister for Cooperatives, Honorable Frederick Ngovigume. In 3 minutes, you can conclude.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank my colleagues with whom who have shared this morning, my senior colleague, the Minister, and all development partners. I would like to thank and congratulate all the cooperators for reaching this day. I would like to request that in the middle of this pandemic, we observe the Ministry of Health SOPs. It is important to keep alive, but at the same time, it is important for us to keep ourselves in production. The cooperators, wherever you are, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you so much for the efforts you have put in. I have observed in the past 5 years a very big change in attitude and mindset. This is a very big contribution to the uplifting of our economy. I want to promise that in these coming years, we are going to walk the talk. The issue of the bank of the cooperators, the issue of education, the issue of value addition. We are also going to concentrate on reduction of the post-harvest losses. We are also going to look at value addition. We are also going to emphasize the issue of the warehouse receipt system. In so doing, we will be bringing you together and enabling you achieve more income than what you have been doing. We would like to recruit, and I would like to request everybody down there to join the cooperative movement, embrace the myoga, also the parish model, as we shall be moving out in due course. I want to request to thank you so much and kindly observe the SOPs and keep the candle burning. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Frederick Gume Ngovi, for that presentation. Yes, to Honorable Francis Mwebesa, your concluding message, your closing message in 3 minutes.
First of all, I want to thank the viewers who might have been listening nationwide about this program. I want to thank the professor about coming to the proper point, and all my colleagues here, because we are all talking about a very important aspect about cooperatives, and we look forward that this has contributed something for the coming future. That's all.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Francis Mwebesa, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, for keeping it short. And yes, to our viewers, balabi abalungi, olunaku bwe tulujaguza bwe tuti nga tutambulira ku mulamwa okuzimba obupya oba obujja obulungi nga tuli wamu. Watazamaji wapenda, hivyo ndivyo tumesherekea siku ya washiriki duniani, ambapo kauli mbiu imekuwa kujenga bora upya tukiwa pamoja. I must thank all those who have really participated online, especially the chairman, Jonas Tuyambe. We also had John Wagaba of Ankole Coffee Producers Cooperative Union, and Sarah Murunji, the Chief of Party for the Healthy Partners. I must also thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Fred Muhumuza, and it is my prayer that you can share the presentation with other stakeholders, because it was such a wonderful presentation for it can inform the formation of policy, since now you say that we are also coming up with a new policy. I also have to thank Ivan Asimwe for ably coordinating this. Partners Stanbic Bank that have been represented by Nelisa Nyakwera, thank you for coming. Then the commissioner who represented the permanent secretary, Robert Variovarije, Turije. We are all fine, so we hope everybody there is actually very, very fine. And Honorable Frederick Ngovi Gume, and our guest speaker, the minister. I must thank the president for making a good choice, because you're all cooperators, seasoned cooperators. So we hope and we pray and we believe that now the ministry is in safe hands. The cooperators out there are looking into the future with a lot of hope. Lastly, I thank the management of UBC for creating this time for us to have these celebrations here at UBC in the auditorium. Amande Akol Amazima saying bye-bye.